Hello and welcome to the Green Machine Live, your home for football news and nostalgia, where you, the fans, the lovely, lovely fans out in YouTube and Facebook land, you can have your say. I'm David, your host, joined as always by Martin. Martin, how you doing on this wonderful Sunday? What did you watch today?
Oh, I watched Enfield's Towns under 11s, the team we sponsored Dave this morning. It's all about the grassroots in football for me, as you know. That's where my interest lies, and now I'll focus again on the international window when that opens up.
Yeah, don't really want to watch any of that Premier League stuff, eh?
Not this week.
No.
Ah, jeez.
Anyway, we don't focus on the Premier League here. We talk about Irish football and Irish football only on this podcast.
Oh, dearie me.
Actually, so all this talking has made me quite parched.
Yeah, what you got there? Sprite, is it?
Yeah. Nice lemony drink there.
Oh yeah, Sprite.
Nice bit.
I can't really see it there, can we? We're not an official partner of the.
Nice bit of 7-Up free there.
Very good. Oh, jeez, it's full of the jokes tonight. Like, we're trying to get listeners and followers, obviously, for the page. And please, just if you are watching for the first time, don't think this nonsense goes on every week.
Do you know what? Like, it's so funny because all I heard all week was, "Hey, Man United, Ten Hag, oh, Liverpool have finished." Oh dear, where did you watch it? What were your thoughts on it?
I did watch it at home. Yeah, I did watch it, of course. I kind of do understand what Gary Neville's talking about when he's saying, that 7-0 flattered them, and more that United was so poor in the second half.
Flattered or flattened them?
Flattered. It was a very open game, and the first half was, it was like a very typical kind of away kind of matching, a good performance actually from United. I mean, they could have been 2-0 up or had chances. So did Liverpool, but very open at times, I thought, as well. And yeah, I was thinking, 1-0 down half time, you're hoping that United are going to come back. And we've been very resilient recently, as we saw during the week. But it wasn't obviously to be. And then conceding the second one, it is kind of game over at Anfield. But to then, capitulate like they did, it was absolutely shocking. And my worry as a Man United fan would be, Luke Shaw, who's been fantastic, and so has Bruno, been brilliant. But, they went back into their whole kind of persona when they weren't good, when they were, tempestuous and stuff, petulant, kicking out. It was really poor from them, like professionally, I think. And there was ways of losing games, and I think United tried to kind of maybe contain the score, but it was just embarrassing at the end. And
I think that was a great way to lose a game, Martin, if I'm being honest with you. Just saying.
Yeah.
But
it was brilliant. It was very good.
Yeah, we are biased. It's actually funny because I purposely wore my Green Machine top so you wouldn't twig it. I got it and changed it in the bathroom off camera. The things we do to amuse ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, we've known Nick. He's actually in Liverpool, bless him. I'm sure Breen is, who's also a friend of the podcast. I'm sure he's not giving him any sort of abuse whatsoever. Oh, God. Normally you have to hang over when you get back from the trip, not when you're on it. So sorry, Nick, if you're watching. And speaking of which, actually, we don't have Nick doing the Boys in Green, so I'm going to do that. So here we are. We don't have the music yet, but we are working on it. So Nick, pardon me, the 7-Up backfiring on me worse than David Hay. Did you actually see that they had a little video out for David Hay for all those little clean sheets?
No.
They did. It was so good. Anyway, here we go. Boys in Green. Right. So let's have a look. Let's see how we got on over the weekend. Gavin Bazina with a clean sheet. Yes, I am going there because it was that paltry a weekend for the Boys in Green. But a clean sheet for him in a 1-0 win against Leicester City for Southampton. Kelsey Ogbenny. Stick that up your arse, Martin. You were waiting for me to fail on that, weren't you?
What's his name?
Kelsey Ogbenny.
Chidozie.
Oh, fuck. I actually rehearsed that as well. I'm doing a lot of rehearsals today. Chelsea Ogbenny with an assist for Rotherham in a 3-1 win over QPR. Sorry, Declan. We know you're watching. Cousin Williams, Will Smallbone. Hat-trick of assists for Stoke in a 5-1 win over Sunderland. Stoke light. Oh. James McLean with an assist for Wigan in a 1-1 draw against Birmingham. Wigan are in serious trouble in the Championship, newly promoted. Scott Hogan missed a penalty in that. Oh dear. David McGoldrick got a goal. Conor Harahan got an assist. And Jason Knight got an assist for a 2-2 draw for Derby against Shrewsbury Town. And Tyrick Wright got an assist for Plymouth Argyle in a 2-0 win against Charlton. And Matt Doherty made his debut in La Liga in a 6-1 win over Sevilla. He didn't start. Apparently he was supposed to start because the regular right back
Suspended, wasn't he?
Suspended, and he still couldn't get it. Didn't mean much, really. 78-minute sub. Not really. Not a lot to write home about, really, was there?
No, I suppose not really. Just coming on like that. But yeah, we waited a long time for it, though, because we were hoping. I did actually read something that Harry Kane wasn't happy, and one of the reasons he wants to leave Spurs is he's really close mates with Doherty, and he wasn't happy with how Doherty's kind of contract was all terminated.
It's treated very badly, I thought.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one, I think.
That is an interesting one. I think Harry Kane just wants any excuse to get out of get out of that club, to be fair. Somebody looks at him sideways. Oh, that's it. I've had enough. Although it wasn't all doom and gloom for the Irish football team. The women did very well, or our captain at least. Katie McCabe, League Cup winner, 2023 winners there, the Continental Tires League Cup. So congratulations to all involved there, and congratulations to Irish captain Katie McCabe. Martin, something you want to add?
Yeah, just we've shared it on the pod social media platforms this evening. Katie's walking around with the Ireland flag there, draped around her shoulders. It's actually I'm going to give a shout out to Neve Murphy, who is a member of Risk London. Her daughter Ellie as well goes to all the Arsenal women's games, so big follower of them. Often meets Katie and stuff. Katie always looks out for the Ireland flag, is absolutely brilliant with the fans, as I kind of met her a few weeks ago, as you know. Yeah, it's brilliant to see her. She handed her the flag and she was celebrating with that and had loads of photos and stuff. So that's all on social media. So it's brilliant to see her winning. Sam Kerr did score an early goal for Chelsea. She'll be facing her again in the World Cup this year with Australia. So Katie's 1-0 up at the moment, which is brilliant to see. And yeah, look, the women's game, as we've always said, it's getting bigger and better and more of a following. I know that won't be massively.
No, we're just box ticking, Martin. We're just box ticking, yes.
Look, I mean, that game was sold out, I think, today at Selhurst Park. So it is getting better. Yeah. And, we've got the Ireland games as well, the warm-up games to look forward to before they go off to the World Cup. So, yeah, fair play, Katie. Well done. And we are put out the feelers as well. We do want to get her on the podcast. So she's listening.
Come on the podcast. She liked the post that Nick put up. Or did you put that one up?
I think Nick and I both posted a few things about that, yeah.
Oh, dear. Yeah, no, congratulations to Katie again. And hopefully she brings home some more silverware in the summer. Well, spring, April, summer, June, isn't it? I don't know what day it is, Mark. Never mind what fucking month the Women's World Cup's on.
Jesus Christ. Box ticking.
Are we not box ticking? Who said that? Jesus. And is Neil Dewson on to you again, is he? No, I mean, look, here's the thing, right? I mean, if you got an issue with women's football, right, if it's not your cup of tea, fine. No one's forcing you to watch it unless you're watching the BBC. No, it's just, but why would you begrudge women playing football? And why would you begrudge the Irish women's team who've qualified for World Cup when an Irish team hasn't qualified for World Cup at senior level for 20 years, 21 years, actually. So
exactly.
Anyway, right. So talking point, big talking point really during the week was a certain Mikey Johnstone, who shall now be called Mick Johnstone. I should have thought of that before I did the graphic, but here we go. Here he is. He's 23. He's a right-footed left winger. He currently plays for Glasgow Celtic. He was born in Glasgow, and he's currently on loan at Vitória de Guimarães. Guimarães? Where's Nick when you need him? 15 appearances, 1 goal so far, and he's only got 9 90-minute appearances. He did play today, but it was a substitute appearance. I think it was 78-minute. He came on. They won 3-1. He hasn't played for the Scottish senior team, so don't start accusing us of a Declan Rice. More of a Jack Grealish, I think. 5 caps apiece for the under-19s and under-21s, and also 3 goals apiece there. So Stephen Kenny's very happy. He has been going on for a left winger, hasn't he? He's been wanting a left winger. He was so desperate for a left winger, he even put your mate as a left wing back, didn't he? Callum Madada.
Yeah, no, I mean he does want to play with wingers. So
Who are?
yeah, we've been on the lookout for them for a while. So I think he's quite he's just casting the net wide basically, and yeah, this is an interesting addition, isn't it? I think so. Yeah, we'll see now. Look, we often hear these players kind of declare themselves, but they never really go anywhere as well. So and it's interesting. Yeah, played underage for Scotland, but it's not the same situation as we've had previously. And I also noticed during the week, Bristol City were playing, and Roy Keane actually mentioned Mark Sykes and that he'd made a very brave decision in moving from Northern Ireland. So got a bit of character about him. So it was nice to see him get a shout out by Roy on ITV during the week.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, look, a lot of people giving out about him. I mean, it didn't get people, totally excited. I mean, it's extra depth. It's a position we are a little bit tight in at the moment. So hopefully he'll prosper there. But look, he's playing in the top division of Portugal. He's playing football, so hopefully it will work out for him. Do you reckon he's going to feature in March, or does that come too soon for him? I mean, he's not going to be in the 21s. He's too old, obviously.
Yeah, I think it might be a bit too soon even for March, though, because I don't know. The fact he's kind of declared, I suppose, is kind of saying he's interested in possible call-ups, but there's a lot of other players, I think, above him.
We've done this a few times, haven't we? Like with Sammy Smoddocks, what's his name at Portsmouth? Harness.
Yeah, Marcus Harness, yeah.
Brought him over, did the whole, got on the knee, picked up the bit of grass, wept, his Irishness, his newly discovered Irishness, and just never featured again, or hasn't featured since.
Yeah.
And Sammy Smoddocks can't seem to hit a lovely one off the crossbar, actually. He's very unlucky there. But look, we'll see how it goes. Mick Johnstone. And best luck to him there. Look, if he does the business, fair play. Another talking point during the week, which would affect all aspects of football, really, is FIFA are proposing a rule change here. This comes about every few years, Martin, doesn't it? So what it is, it's to stop time wasting. And in theory, on the top of it, it actually looks like a sensible move. So here's what it is. It's Football Joe. FIFA are considering a new game clock rule. So what it is, basically, if the ball goes out of play, the referee stops the clock. So you're guaranteed to get 90 minutes. It's going to stop time wasting, all that kind of nonsense. You probably wouldn't have won the Premier League in 93 if this had come in. Showing our age there a bit. So I remember this first came in, actually, when Glenn... Do you remember there was a game... It was the FA Cup. I think it was Chelsea against Blackburn or Newcastle. Alan Shearer was the striker, and Dimitri Karin, do you remember him, was in goal for Chelsea. Yeah. And they were winning 1-0, and I think it got to the 98th minute. This was before you had the board with the time on it. And he blemmed it, and he hit it. It was a howler from Karin, and it went straight to Shearer, and Shearer went up and scored. And it had to go as a replay, I think, to Ewood Park or St. James. I can't remember. It was one of them. And Glenn Hoddle was the manager at the time. So I think it was Blackburn. And he was giving out yards about it, wasn't he? He was like, right, I want this to be stopped. Anyway, show me age there again. And that's actually what prompted the whole... Because soon after that, he brought in, the added time on the board. But on the whole, it looks like a promising idea. But it looks like some people are a bit worried it's going to bring ads into it.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical. I can't see this happening, to be honest. I think we saw in the World Cup, I think they managed it quite well in the World Cup. And most games, some of them with very clear injuries, they were... I think you stop it for that, but you can't be stopping it for throw-ons and going out for corners and things like that. It's a good discussion point because I watched the Arsenal game yesterday and, 6 minutes went up and I think they scored the goal in the 97th minute technically. But, there was a goal kick, ball went out for a goal kick at one of them and it was about 30 seconds it wasted, from him taking his time, getting the ball, then taking the goal kick. So, I was winding up my Arsenal supporting friends, saying I didn't realise that they'd changed the rule yesterday that, it was next goal wins, obviously, because they were just waiting for Arsenal and they played till Arsenal scored.
Bit rush, but coming from a United fan.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Fergie time. But I think it's I can't see this working on the stop-start all the time. It would become a little bit like, timeouts in basketball and everything like that. I think games will just generally now, with them stopping for head injuries and things like that, and serious injuries, I think they will add on time, and I think it's working well. I think most games now are 98 minutes basically. So I think it will even itself out over the season as well. But I don't see the need for it on stop, start, and everything. For one thing, it will be very, very boring I know we all go to football to watch it and stuff, but it's a long time watching football because it would be 2 hours basically. But you'd
Yeah.
actually be in the stadium for 2 hours, so you'd have that all the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? In theory, looks a great idea, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that they'll find a way. They'll abuse it somehow. Another talking that'll be interesting to see if that one comes right. They have some of these mad ideas, like what was the one with Van Basten, like to put it into 4 quarters, an orange card for sin bin, and all this other bollocks. You're like, it's football. It's the most popular sport in the world. Why do you need to make these fundamental changes? The stuff with the spray, that was a good idea. The extra subs and goal line technology is an absolute home run. Don't mean to bring in the American terminology, but just leave the game alone. And Wenger wants a lot of these changes as well. Trying to find something for him. Sorry, Keelan, if you're watching. Right, another topic actually was, it's probably just a little bit more pertinent to the Irish football team, but we got a bit of a we thought we were going to have something very special in terms of the shirts. Obviously, the new Arna kit's coming out soon. There might be another kit coming out soon as well. More on that later on. Not in this show, though. But yeah, it was teased by O'Neill's that they were going to be making a new Arna shirt. Let's have a look at the video. Bringing back the Shamrock, the 3rd of March, 23. So, of course, we all got our knickers in a twist, and we all thought that, O'Neill's are going to be making a new shirt because a new shirt will be released in March. It was believed to be Castori, which no one wants. And there's going to be a new crest, and people are calling out for the Shamrock to go basically back on the shirt. We haven't had it since 91, really, have we? When we went to the we had a Shamrock, but not the Shamrock during the Euro 92 campaign, I think, when they changed it. Yeah, I mean, it was never really going to happen, was it? It was just basically O'Neill's. Very clever, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, really clever marketing ploy this, and I think it will be as Castore. That's what the speculation is.
Yeah.
Because we are only 3 weeks out from the game now against Latvia, and also you got to remember the under-21s are playing as well, and then we're going to be playing France, and you would hope they're going to get their act together, the FAI, and have a big launch and get the new badge out there, and you'd even think the whole stadium should be kitted out in the. Like with the new logos everywhere and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kind of logistics to it to really promote the new era in a sense. But that's not happened. We're 3 weeks out, so something must be going on in the background. O'Neill's, I think it was very clever marketing employed by them, and everyone did get excited and think, oh, maybe because we haven't heard about Castori and haven't heard from 3 weeks out that there's nothing going on, maybe it is O'Neill's and they've come in, and blindsided everybody. But it is just O'Neill's launching a shirt, and I think I love the badge. I like it, and I think these do quite well. They do quite well with the nostalgia stuff.
Here's the shirt there. I mean, it's okay. It looks like a GA jersey from 1985. I mean, the crest is lovely. I'm not a massive fan of the jersey. They do have the retro shirts that they made up until 85, I think. O'Neill's made it until Adidas took over to coincide with the Jack era. I mean, they really need to be getting a finger out now. You'd want to deal and play. I mean, we don't know what's going on. We don't, do we? Like, they're keep very stoned. Fair enough. That's their business. We get that. But yeah, 3 weeks out. No sign of a jersey. No sign of a new crest. You really want to be creating. Maybe they'll do it 2 weeks out. 2 weeks is probably the sweet spot there. But you want to see. You want to be creating a bit of a buzz. New jersey, you can get it in the airport. You can buy it in London. You can, all this sort of stuff that we were kind of missing with the last deal with Elveries that Jacko Sports had. Because that was a massive hole in the market there that they basically, the distributors created, really. So it is a bit disappointing, but you kind of hope they're going to pull a rabbit out of a hat here. And okay, if it is a story, fine. If it's a big deal, it's going to be the first international deal if it is, isn't it? I think this talk is going to be very lucrative. So if you take a lucrative deal, fair enough, I get that. But yeah, it's just lack of action's a little bit. What's going
Yeah,
on?
you just think like it's a new campaign, isn't it? And I know we're electronic tickets now and things like that, but you would think we will have the new FAI logo for the new campaign. It's a new start. It was an opportunity for them to be really fresh and kind of bring a bit of energy to it. But it's just like there was always going to be kind of crossover from the old to the new. But I'm just a bit annoyed with it really because I know underage teams are still wearing the Umbro stuff. I think you have to be consistent as an association, become very professional and kit all your teams in it, because otherwise they start feeling like second class citizens basically. We're still wearing the old gear. That was what we went through with the women years ago. They couldn't.
Yeah.
They had to borrow tracksuits and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think we've just got to. It's just disappointing that it's not happened yet. And I thought it's very clever from O'Neill's. And yeah, look, it just shows you the interest is there. I mean, even if that had been an FAI kind of media kind of movement in a sense, that they were saying, oh, just to test the waters, it really got a lot of engagement on social media. I was thinking, oh wow, is this the new badge? Or I like it, or I don't like it.
Yeah.
So it was good. And it just shows you there is interest there. So yeah.
Well, I think our preference is go back with Adidas. Adidas can make a mint with the retro range. Tally 90, Euro 88. There you go. Put it out there. You make a fortune, but well, I mean, maybe it's not that simple. I don't know. I'm not an expert in merchandise at all. And I'm not an expert in the League of Ireland either. Neither are you, Martin. So we're going to hand it over to an expert. That was a really good segue. We're going to hand it over to an expert. We're going to hand it over to Ross of League of Ireland Fan TV fame. They're on a bit of a hiatus at the moment, I think. But Ross has kindly decided to join us, really, to give you a bit of a League of Ireland roundup. So here he is, giving you his expert opinion on this weekend's action. So take it away, Ross.
What's going on, guys? Delighted to be welcomed onto the Green Machine podcast. I think this is going to be now a weekly segment doing an LOI roundup, so absolutely honoured to be invited onto the channel to do this. Down to Turner's Cross first, where Cork picked up a 4-0 win over UCD, a very comprehensive victory, and it's an important one as well. Cork's first points of the season, and a win like this will kind of settle the nerves down there, obviously newly promoted side, and give everyone a big boost, and they can really kick on from here. Drogheda continued their strong start to the season with a 1-0 win over Sligo Rovers. An Adam Foley goal in the second half was the only thing to separate the sides. That's now 5 points from 3 games from Drogheda. And it's a relatively tough start to the season as well. Obviously, Shells and Rovers in there as well. So they'll be absolutely delighted with themselves so far. Next up, we probably had the shock of the weekend as Dundalk put 5 of the best past St. Patrick's Athletic. A really shocking result and one I didn't see coming whatsoever. Stephen Donald, of course, previously of St. Pat's, you think they'd have a bit more bite, a bit more character to their performance, but they're a really lacklustre, disappointing one for Tim Clancy's men. A really concerning result. But for Dundalk, they'll be absolutely thrilled. Huge result for them. And it was Shelburne who got the bragging rights in the North Dublin derby, picking up a 1-0 win over Bohemians. Now, a lot of Bohemians fans were kind of going back and forth with Shells on Twitter all week, and it was them who were left with egg on their face come the final whistle. A huge talking point in the game was, of course, Dylan Connolly's red card when the game was still at 0-0, but I really don't understand why this is a talking point. You can't raise your elbow to an opponent and then strike them in the face with your elbow. I really don't understand how people are even disputing this. A really strange one, a stonewall red card. But yeah, much needed points for Damien Duff's men, and Keane Levy looks the real deal. A cracking goal from outside the box. And finally, we had the 2 title favourites going head to head as Shamrock Rovers, without any centre backs in the squad pretty much, going ahead against Derry City. This one ended in a 2-1 away win, a massive result for Derry City as they extended their lead from Shamrock Rovers to 5 points after 3 games, which is hugely significant. It was a really good game of football and really enjoyable one to watch as well. Both sides tried to play the right way, and it really was a great advert for the league. My player of the week this week is Dundalk's number 10, who gave a 10 out of 10 performance, Greg Sloggett. He was a real driving force in the midfield for Dundalk all night long against St. Pat's. Was a key component in their 5-0 win. Thanks for having me on, guys, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks for that, Ross, and we will see you next week. Just to just to put a cap on it. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. We're just going to go through the results here, starting with the Premier League. So Cork City with a 4-0 win over UCD. Drogheda United with a 1-0 win at home to against Sligo Rovers. Dundalk with a 5-0 win over St. Pat's. That's my team, Pats. Shelburne 1-0 win over Bows. David Gray was at that match, actually. the singer, Babylon and all that. Shamrock Rovers lost 2-1 at home to Derry City. Not a great start for them. Division 1 results here as well. Kerry got their first point, and I mean first point ever. Like ever. At home to Treaty United, relative newcomers as well from Limerick. Waterford 0, Galway United 1, Wexford 3, Athlone Town 0, Finn Harps 1, Bray Wanderers 1. Just a cheeky look at the Premier League table here. Derry City on top with 7 points, Bow second, Drogheda third, Dundalk fourth, Sligo fifth. And propping up the table, no surprise here, UCD, but Shamrock Rovers in Cork City as well. Not a great start for Stephen Bradley's men. Division 1 table looks like this. Galway United on top. Maximum points from 3 games. That's 9 points. Bray Wanderers, Cove Ramblers, Athlone Town and Waterford. And propping up that table is the new boys. Kerry, obviously they only got the 1 point so far this season out of 3 games. And just very quickly, Premier League fixtures action tomorrow. You got Bohemians at home to Drogheda, Dundalk at home to Shelburne, Sligo at home to St. Pat's, UCD at home to Derry City. They're all 7:45 kickoffs, and then you got the later kickoff at 8 o'clock, which is Shamrock Rovers at home to Cork City. Stephen Bradley will be looking to put a few things right. Of course, you can get all of that on the League of Ireland TV season pass. 120 quid, not bad if you want to support the League of Ireland and Irish football. It's a great way to do it, even if you can't get to the games, because, you know, not everybody from Ireland lives in Ireland. 2 prime examples. Well, me anyway. He's English. Right, so thanks very much for that, Ross. We'll do that a little bit every week now. So actually, another new segment. Well, it's actually more of an old segment that's sort of been brought back. It's been polished. It was put on the shelf, and we brought it back. And that is Roy Watch. There you go. You kind of get the impression that's what Martin's bedroom looks like. Various pictures of Roy Keane with distressed looks on his face. So we're going to do something a bit cheeky. Hopefully we don't get taken off YouTube for it. But there is a clip, an audio clip here of Roy Keane giving out about Declan Rice, before Man United's 3-1 FA Cup win. You remember that when you used to win at home in the FA Cup against West Ham? Anyway, so here he is giving out about Declan Rice.
What do you see for Rice in terms of the future for him?
Well, obviously he's got to focus on doing well for West Ham between now and the rest of the season. I don't think he's been great this season. I really don't. I think he's not really kicked on. You know, for all the talk about him, a lot of good PR coming out of West Ham, how much he's worth. I think he needs to do a lot more. Doesn't score obviously enough goals, doesn't get enough assists.
Wow.
Do you disagree? That's good. I hope you disagree with me, yeah, because I think I know what I'm talking about. I played it in midfield, but he needs to do a lot more. And it's see what he's like now tonight. You know,
is it his all? Does he need to do more in every aspect of his game?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And listen, I've been a fan of him. He turns up every week. He's always fit. But I just want a bit more from him. If there's talk of him, he's going to be leaving for big money and going to one of the bigger clubs. You're going to be competing for trophies, obviously, and playing in Champions League. He needs to do a lot more. It's as simple as that. Now I'm going to look at him closely tonight and say, listen, you got to turn up. Sometimes I see him in games at West Ham. I'm not saying he's playing badly, but sometimes he's just going through the motions, sidewards, backwards, picking the easy option. He needs to do a lot more, I think, to match some of the other top midfielders in the country.
So you were loving that, Martin, were you? Listening to his dulcet tones.
I do love a bit of Roy, as you know.
You
Yeah,
do,
I
don't
do
you?
actually. I do. It's one of my tweet searches is Roy Keane because I think he's a fascinating character, and you know, you do get his brilliant insight and quips and stuff. And obviously today after the 7-0, he was full of them as well. But yeah, he's a good character. And yeah, look on Declan Rice. I know people now probably go mad. Why are you talking about him? He doesn't play for Ireland anymore and things like that. But you know, it's notable to obviously chat about it. I think because Roy had experience.
We want to have a go at Declan Rice as well.
Yeah, yeah, basically. I mean, it still hurts. Let's be honest. Well, it does, in my view. And yeah, I've seen actually something during the week. David Moyes said, you know, in response to that, said, you know, Roy Keane is one of the best ever players, and he knows about the midfield role. Very diplomatic response to Keane, and he did actually say, you know, like for Declan Rice's age, he's had however many caps it is for England already. He actually didn't mention the 3 Ireland caps he had, which I was bit disappointed with, but yeah, look, it's an interesting one to kind of focus on, I suppose. And Roy does know a good player, doesn't he?
Yeah, if he likes them.
Yeah.
No, you know, I think we'd all thought Declan Rice would kick on. He hasn't.
Yeah, I did see actually Declan Rice. He did respond, kind of in a sense, saying that he doesn't take any notice from pundits. But the kind of phrase he used was, I've seen this on like an Irish social media channel, was just saying, the phrase he used was, "Oh well, they're all in the stands, and if they're any good, they'll be on the pitch." I think it didn't go down very well with West Ham fans because that's who he was basically digging out, because he can't obviously call into question what Roy Keane achieved in central midfield. And I think as a player, though, look, just talking blandly about him, I think he does need to be a lot better. I really highly rated him, but I think he definitely has.
He's believing his own hype. He's believing his own hype. He wasn't great for England.
Yeah.
He's kind of gone backwards a little bit. I think he's plateaued, actually. If I'm being honest, I think he's just plateaued. He needs to be doing better. But anyway, not too much better. Would you still have Man United quickly?
I would, yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think
after
really
today's
good.
performance, I'm not surprised.
You wouldn't even know he could have a deal done already. That's what I would actually be thinking. Maybe a distraction.
And that's why his heart's not in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me with him, would it? Right, we're gonna hopefully, if you like Roy Watch, let us know in the comments. By the way, we're trying a few new things. We're trying to spice it up a little bit. Okay, we're gonna go on to the social media watch. Not really a lot going on in this, but we'll have a little look anyway. So, actually, both bits from yourself. I couldn't find really anything, to be honest. So you brought this to our attention. FIFA having an absolute stormer today for the Women's World Cup. This is their official Women's World Cup account. Set your alarms, everybody. More hashtag FIFA World Cup 2023 tickets will be released tomorrow. And a little happy emoji. Hashtag Beyond Greatness. Well, unfortunately, the social media team wasn't Beyond Greatness. They have a picture of the Northern Ireland ladies who won't be playing in this summer's World Cup. And this was deleted, wasn't it?
It was deleted after 11 minutes, but someone screenshotted it quite quickly. And I think it's actually it's a big focus this week on women's sport in Ireland, I think. So that's why it's kind of been spotted as well. We need to get things correct about the women's game, I think, when we're talking about it. And FIFA to kind of fall on the world stage at the first hurdle where they're talking about tickets and stuff and putting in a team that aren't even there. So
to be fair, though, that's the whole confusion. Unless you're from this island, that could be at any level in any sport. It doesn't matter if it's women's or men's; they would still get it wrong.
Yeah, well, I think even back to Euro '88, I think there's even pennants, isn't there, that have got the Northern Ireland badge on rather than a Republic badge.
I didn't know that. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, so, they get it wrong all the time. Here's another one as well. This actually the other bit. Really, you got this one as well, Gavin Casey, and it's to do with the O'Neill's shirt. Because David Schneid, who broke the story about the Castori deal, really, he was tagged in this one with the O'Neill's crest, and basically he says, "Have been told this has nothing to do with the FAI and the new Ireland kit." Basically, sticking to his guns as Castori. And then we got Barry Keogh from the Banshee of Inisherin.
Yep.
Basically with the quote, "Well, there goes that dream." Because it's a quote in the movie. I've never seen it, so no, you love that, man.
Yeah, I do love that. I mean, I love Barry Keogh, and I think obviously he won a BAFTA, didn't he, recently? And he's off to the Oscars. But we're mentioning him in the context of Irish football because he was at Euro 2016.
He was, and I wish I actually put the picture up of him, but there's a lovely picture of him with his lovely Euro 2016 shirt, and he's had a Sweden
young man as well. Yeah, brilliant story about him, obviously, as we know, and going on to good things and representing the flats, is it?
Yeah. No, I was going to say something there, but no, he if you ever want inspiration, honestly, if you want inspiration, have a look at his story. It is phenomenal. That guy just had a really shit start in life, and he has just done brilliantly. I actually put that up on the picture of him, and I just put on it like, look at this guy's backstory. It's inspiring. Just like that. Didn't go into it. And everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, he's brilliant, fantastic." And then there's one guy turns around and goes, "What do you have to mention his backstory for? We all have a past. What are you bringing it up for?" I'm not bringing it up. I'm trying to inspire people, you dickhead.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen the film. The film won't be to everyone's. I don't want to go this into a film review, of course, but it's not to everyone's taste. It won't be to everyone's taste. I've chatted about the film to lots of people. It's something about it that's really stuck with me. But his performance in one scene is just absolutely incredible, and it's with the other girl in it who also won a BAFTA, I think, Best Supporting Actress, and she's Irish as well. But his performance in that is incredible.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it yet anyway. I've heard it's brilliant, but I haven't seen it.
It's strange. It's a strange film, but it's good.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the comments anyway. A little bit of interaction here. Comments and questions. Declan Finnegan, we knew he was watching. Ogbeni had a great first half yesterday. Well, yeah, he did. He got an assist. Brian Wilson, fan of the pod, fan of the page. I can't watch live with David wearing that shirt. Sorry, Brian.
Fair play, Brian. I agree with you.
Don't encourage him to leave. We got Daniel, who starts with Evan Ferguson up front against France. If you think Evan starts, who'd you go with?
I think it's an awful lot to ask of him to start up against France. I'd like to see it, but I think it will be Arsenal. I think Kenny's going to have to manage him very carefully. But it's going to all depend on him as a player and what he does against Latvia. I'd definitely start him against Latvia and see if he's ready to rise to the occasion. The question, though, who starts with him? I think he will go with Obafemi.
Yeah.
I think he likes him, and I think that could work.
Big man, little man combination.
Yeah.
He is a beast, Evan Ferguson. Like, he's such a tiny footballer. He's a big lad. Yeah. You know, you guys had the Richie Byrne interview, which is available in the archives, by the way. Richie Byrne, great chat there yourself and Nick had with him about conditioning and all that, and about how heavy injuries for young players are detrimental to the development. And, you know, he was on about like how you overload younger players. And this is obviously a lot of the football. It's like football, what's the word I'm looking for?
Development.
That's not the one, but that'll do. But sports science, football science.
Yes, yeah.
But certain players have it. They're just Norman Whiteside had it in the 82 World Cup.
Rooney.
Yeah, the 82 World Cup. Evan Ferguson has it, does he? He's a big lad. Wayne Rooney had it, just didn't look after it. So he is a big lad. I don't think he'll be he won't be anyway. Jesus, I'm at a lot worse tonight, but he won't be intimidated by the French.
No, he won't be phased.
No, I would go with him, and I would go with Obafemi. That's power and pace right there, and yeah, that's who I'd go with. Anyways, hopefully that answers your question, Daniel. John Kennedy, love that shirt, Dave. Hi, Matt.
That's taking the piss out of me. Yeah, that's my brother-in-law. Thanks, Liverpool fan. Cheers.
Good man, John. Why is he calling you Matt? What's the story there?
I don't know. Some people call me Matt.
He's your brother-in-law. He doesn't know your name.
I don't know.
Or is it the fact you sound like Matt Holland? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Paul Culleton over on the YouTube channel. Great show, lads. How you doing, Paul, by the way? Hope all is well with you. Just wondering, in what position do you think new recruit Mikey Johnstone will play in Stephen Kenny's 3-5-2 system, considering traditionally he's being a winger? Wing-back. It's going to be left wing-back, is it?
It would be, wouldn't it? I mean, we do play the 3-5-2, but yeah, like, you know, we can interact, doesn't he? The kind of forwards. He's had Robinson like left forward, Ogbene as well when he's had him
he is right,
a right forward.
Could be a right wing back because he's right footed. Because he's gonna he's gonna be like the Stuart Downing. I'm using Liverpool terminology. When Stuart Downing was playing for Liverpool under Rodgers, instead of playing as left winger, he was like a right left footed, and he's left footed but played as a right winger because he wanted him to come in. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know much about the player as well, to be honest. So I've not heard what Kenny said about him. And I know Kenny was on Off the Ball, wasn't he, last week, talking about how Croatia and following the World Cup basically and what he found with that. But yeah, look, he does talk about wanting to play wingers. So yeah, it's interesting whether he will stay true to form with that.
Yeah, wing back, some form or another, he'll be a wing back. Interesting nonsense. I'm not in favor of so many changes to the laws of the game. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, obviously stuff like the spray paint, stuff like the goal line technology, that enhances the game and it just gets rid of certain things just like that. Martin Fitzpatrick. Collins has lost his place. I'm worried. He did actually come on as a halftime substitute and they won 1-0. Coincidence? Hardly.
I've seen their manager that he did mention, didn't he, that he had called him and he was ready and he was happy with how he played and things like that. So maybe it is opening the door again. You don't know. Sometimes behind the scenes there could be, you'd hope not, but a disciplinary problem. You don't know an awful lot. You kind of find out a few months later, but you wouldn't know.
Maybe not disciplinary. maybe not just discipline, just teaching them a life lesson or you
Yeah.
know, he probably hasn't done anything wrong. It's just, look, you need a break. A lot of football, a lot of expectation on you. You need to come off a little bit. There will be a chance. He's got it. He's taken it. So it actually could be the making of him, really, at that club. You know, you'd imagine he'll start in the next one. Glenn Forbes, thanks for highlighting and supporting the women's game so well. Quick question: which two men's players would have the biggest impact on the men's national team if they progressed / reached their potential? Love the jersey, Dave. Thank you very much, Glenn. Two players that would have the biggest impact on the men's team if they reached their potential. Wow.
I think, yeah, go on. I'll let you go first with this.
I mean, just two. There's so many players with potential. I'd suppose you would go with, I reckon, Jason Knight. If he gets out of the third tier of English football and kicks on, and I reckon Gavin Mizunu if he reaches his potential.
Yeah, I think definitely potential-wise, definitely Bazunu's an interesting one, and you know, inspiring young kids as well, which I'm quite passionate about, obviously, and speak about Bazunu and what a great professional he comes across and very grounded. I think now Evan Ferguson's going to be the one, because if he scores goals, everyone is excited about strikers, and if he scores goals, he's going to be our main striker for many, many years to come. So I'm really excited about him, but we have to keep the hype down a little bit. You know, it's a weird one, isn't it? We're on social media, we're active, and we're chatting about it all the time. And if you praise him, it's, oh, you're overhyping him. And if you don't say anything, oh, we don't give any credit at all. So he's very, very exciting, you know, for his age, potentially, and what he's doing now. If he's doing it in the Premier League now, it's frightening, because the last person we had doing it at that age, at that level, was Robbie Keane.
What a shit answer I gave. Of course, Evan Ferguson. Sorry, lads.
But another player I would say is who I think is going to go up higher and be really appreciated soon is when Burnley come up, people are going to see how good Josh Cullen is at Burnley and in the Premier League, because you'll be the more focusing in the Premier League, and you're going to see what a great player he is, and he will become, you know, Glenn Whelan. It was an amazing player for Ireland and not appreciated until he kind of is, you know, over 100 caps. I mean, he got retired, didn't he? And then he came back. But we will appreciate Josh Cullen a lot more when we see him week in, week out in the Premier League.
Just with Josh Cullen, you know, I know we kind of disagree in this. It'd be interesting to see. He's done well in the Championship, Premier League. And the one issue I've always had with Josh Cullen is his pace of pass and his pace of vision. You know, how quickly does he read it? I have seen him play for Ireland, Portugal, actually, a few times, where I just didn't think he released the ball quick enough, which is why I think he never quite made it at West Ham, because you need to be fast on the ball. You need to be fast mentally, especially in midfield, especially in the position he plays in. But if he adapts, and he's done really well, and company is maybe
they're playing a lot quicker football. They play quick football, and they go forward, and he is the one doing a lot of that now. Yeah,
but that's in the Championship, which is still a very good level. But let's see if he does it in the Premier League. That's the real test. If he could do it in the Premier League, we're laughing.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that FA Cup game, because it will be on the TV when it's Man City against Burnley. I think that's quite fascinating to watch that. And one interesting thing, kind of link it out to Ireland, is obviously that weekend that's the last kind of couple of few games before the meet-up. So I'm always interested when the squad will be announced, when the squad are going to get together. So the FA Cup, the last Sunday game is Fulham and Man United. So Shane Duffy, if he's in the squad, would be joining up with the squad maybe Sunday night or Monday. Right, I know he might not play or might not get in for Fulham, but so it'll be that weekend. Then the team, the squad, are obviously going to be meeting up that week. So be interesting.
Will be indeed. Right, we'll move it on. Irish Jedi. Evening, lads. Great interview this week with Kenny, where he said he doesn't see Morocco as a direct comparison to this Irish team, and Croatia should be the inspiration going forward. Thoughts quickly on that, Martin?
Yeah, it was good. I listened to that. It was interesting, and he's completely right to compare us to Croatia, because although he said, you know, we don't have a player like Modric playing at that highest level, but that's what we've got to aspire to. Very similar populations. Very similar populations. I think that's how he can, because Morocco, you got to think they have the diaspora all around the world, and we have that as well to some extent. But you know, Morocco, the population is not comparable to Ireland, and I think that's why he had to look into talking about a comparable team are Croatia, and you think what they've achieved, World Cup final, semi-finalists as well. All right, I know they've got incredibly talented players, but I liked actually the fact he said that, we want to, no matter who they're playing, Croatia, they want to get possession of the football. They want to outplay the other team, and that is what he's determined to do with Ireland. And I think that's really refreshing. And we're not going to have, we've got to be patient with it, because we're not going to have the players yet, because they're all coming through now technically, who are going to be able to look after the ball like that and keep possession and be confident enough in possession. But that's all coming through from the system. Even our under 15s, they beat Wales really easily. Actually, this week I think that one of the games was 4-0, maybe the other one was 3-1
on St. David's Day.
Yeah, so that underage, we're doing really, really well. I would urge any listeners and followers of the page to do follow the FAI and see what we're doing at underage, because we're very, very good at underage.
No, absolutely. Kavanagh H. Thomas. Dave, did you work at Paddy Power Dial-A-Bet call centre around 2006, 2007? You said Paddy Power recently and you look familiar. Everyone says that. Could be the headset. Anyway, keep up the great work, lads. Did you see Connor Rowan, easy for me to say, playing well in his first 2 matches with a Man of the Match award for this weekend's match for Colorado Rapids? My God, I cannot speak tonight. No, Kavanagh is your answer to that, to both of those questions. I did work for Paddy Powers at the time, but no, I never worked in the call centre. I worked in the shops in the north, in the city. I also worked in North Dublin. I worked in South Dublin, and I also worked in Leixlip, actually.
And Lansdowne Road.
And actually, excuse me, I actually did work at Lansdowne Road a few times. Some cracking. I could do a podcast my time with Paddy.
You were in East Stand, though, weren't you, Lansdowne Road?
I was in East Stand. That
was
a
little hut, wasn't there? Yeah,
it was. We probably met.
I would have had lots of bets with you, Dave.
Yeah, I bet you would have. I bet if Keane was in with you, you would have been one of those dads.
Old Lansdowne Road, though. Old Lansdowne Road. Keane wouldn't have been there then. So
no, I remember in the East Stand. If you were in that stand, you had the worst hour, the quickest hour of your life. It was like a zombie movie. All these hands would come through the stuff with money and slips. You just took them. You didn't. It could have been a kid. You didn't know. You couldn't see, and you had the old 2-part system. And if you went to the West Stand, it was lovely. And I was there for the Holland game, the 4-0 drubbing. And I remember I got to meet Barker van Basten and say hello to him. And I was like, wow, he was the coach at the time. And Aaron Robin was about to go to Chelsea. And we got the bucket seats in the West Stand, and it was so lovely. I think we did like 20 bets. The other one was carnage. Yeah. But I remember that I could tell you some great stories about my time at Paddy Powers. You probably wouldn't believe half of them, but they are true. Show. That would be a show, actually. 2 attempted armed robberies. Anyway, yes, and Conor Rowan. No, we didn't see him playing that, but he's doing well. But
I'll certainly look that up now, though, to be honest. So, yeah, thanks for letting us know about that.
Thank you very much. Irish Jedi. Also, would you guys select Shane Duffy for his leadership around the camp, even if he's not match fit to play? Around the camp, yes. I wouldn't be chancing him against France, though, Martin. Would you?
My answer to that question is no, I wouldn't. I think it's gone now. I think it's finished with Shane Duffy with Ireland. I can't.
Would you even have him around the camp?
I don't think you need to. Like, you've got John O'Shea now as an assistant coach, and we got enough leadership there now. Senior pros there, who are doing very, very well. And I think that old thing's probably not as needed now. I think the squad has developed under Kenny in 2-3 years, and there's enough leaders in the team now.
Well, there you go. If it was up to Martin, Shane Duffy.
Oh, Seamus does that. Seamus Coleman does that, doesn't he? A lot. He's the captain. He's the leader.
He is the leader.
And John Egan's there as well. So we've got enough leaders in that team. Yeah, you think about the captains in our squad. It's quite good.
That is true, including Nick's favourite, Alan Brown. Preston North End. And the final comment of the week goes to Declan Finnegan. Sinclair Armstrong came on for QPR yesterday and won a penalty within minutes of coming on. There you go. See, Declan Finnegan, a savant of Irish football and QPR. Thanks for those comments, guys. We love to hear from you guys. Keep them coming in. Next week we'll be back. Just keep your comments coming in, your questions. It's fantastic. We do try to make this Ireland's most interactive football podcast. on to the next one, Martin. We're going to be finishing up soon enough anyway. And it is this week back in the day. There we are. Now, we don't actually have a new episode this Wednesday because nothing happened. We tried. We really tried. I went through all the stuff. Like, nothing happened that I'm aware of. Nothing really you could get a meaty podcast out of. However, we do encourage folks to listen to our current episode before we do come back. We will have another episode the following Wednesday, and that is on Stan's first game. Now, you're probably going to think, why would I want to listen to that? That's just going to be all a load of nonsense. It's just a game. We won 3-0. What is so interesting? And there is the graphic there. It was actually very interesting. The reason why it was very interesting was because Stan had his cheerleader by the name of Niall Quinn in the box, because it was only on Sky Sports, and Sky Sports showed it live, and Niall Quinn was the commentator. And Niall Quinn played a little part in Bobby Robson. He played a little part in it, and he got Bobby Robson on board with Stan. So he was the ultimate cheerleader, and Martin and I have a right out. We go through it, and basically we have some fun with it. But here's some of the comments, Martin. Here is some of the footage from lovely Niall. Hopefully this doesn't get taken off YouTube. Bear with me now if I could just find it here. So first of all, here's Stan's entrance to the Lansdowne Road crowd. This is not doctored in any way, by the way. So here is his introduction to the Irish team, or to the Irish fans.
Steve Staunton enters the arena as manager.
Go on, Stan. So there. So yes, so that was the intro. So, and then you hear during the game, like, Martin, don't you, like Niall Quinn going on, oh, the city's buzzing, and the Dolphins back in the bay, and everything's great. It's fantastic. Oh, it's really brilliant stuff, isn't it? And everything's great. And that's the intro he got. Nobody was buzzing.
It's brilliant fun recording this, as you know. And I'd urge everyone to give it a listen, because you will never. I think I say on the podcast, I'm very passionate and very supportive and very positive about Irish football. I always try to see the positives, but Niall Quinn takes it to another level. And I've never seen someone buzz throughout a co-commentary and be so biased and so
put the boot into Brian Kerr.
Yeah.
So if you think, sorry, Mark.
So we watched the whole game back, didn't we? So and then obviously with a view of pleasure, we've obviously analysed it and chatted and picked out the best bits, and it is comical. I even said now I see it, you're laughing at.
We got every bit of Niall Quinn fandom really for our cheerleading for his mate Stan, and we actually included it in the episode. It is really, just for that alone, it is worth it. I actually might get a video and put it on Lansdowne Road to show you all of this. It's 7 minutes worth of footage. It is hilarious. Here's another clip, and you think he didn't put the boot into Brian Kerr at all. Have a listen to this. This is after Ireland go 1-0 up. Damien Duff gets his first goal for 2 years. Damien Duff in full flow, apparently, as Niall likes to say. But this is what Niall Quinn says after Duff gets to go. Have a listen to this.
Wants him to go on his right, so he says, okay, I will. Then bang in the net. But just watch where he goes. Who does he go to? Who are these players happy with? The manager. They're pleased for him. It's wonderful.
Who's he go to? Who's he happy with? The manager. Wonderful. That's brilliant stuff. That's world-class stuff now. It's brilliant. That's all you hear, isn't it? It's ludicrous. So anyway, so go on to the YouTube channel there. Go on to wherever you get your podcasts. It is an audio podcast. This week, back in the day, Stan's first game. Trust me, it is worth a listen. Wherever you get your podcast, it is available there. And actually, that's all we have time for. It's been an interesting week. Fantastic week. I had a great weekend. Do you know that?
I did as well, because I'm absolutely delighted. When our captain of our country wins a trophy for their club, I'm always happy. So I'm really happy with Kate McCabe, and that's what I'll take away from this weekend.
Yeah, and Liverpool pull 7 past the scum. I'm fucking ecstatic. Right, that is all we have time for this week. I probably lost followers there. Well, have your say then, and fucking tell me what you think of it. I don't care. All of us listened all week was, Man United this, Man United. I did actually predict Liverpool would win. Genuinely, not honest to God. I did not think it'd be like that. I just thought Liverpool put everything into it because it was like a cup final. They're on a bit of form. 3 wins in a row, but they're not back. Liverpool are not back.
No, they're not. No, that's the thing. But United, it could be massively unraveling for United. But I think
so.
they won't. I don't think it will. I think there's just too many leaders in that dressing room.
I don't know.
I don't think the title's on, obviously, but I think they'll still win
Leaders?
another trophy this year.
No.
Leaders on the team, yeah.
Look, it could go either way. You could fire them on. This will be a real test of the character. It could fire them up, or it could actually it could ruin them. A result can ruin a team if the response isn't immediate, fast, and appropriate. Yeah. Just saying. Anyway, that is all we have time for this week. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do. And wherever you get your podcasts, and to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, which is all in our bio. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. We really do appreciate it. And we are going to see you next week. Is it FA Cup week next week, Martin?
No, not next week. No. Week after.
Well, let's bugger that conversation. Anyway, thank you very much. All the best. Look after yourself, and we'll see you next week.